What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, Talk About Gay Sex, the live version. This is episode 271. I am your host, Steve V. Side Hawaiian, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette, over on the Hawaiian Islands.
Aloha, darling. I'm doing wonderful. Aloha. How are you?
Mahalo. Those are the only two words I know.
Me too. You took my words, bitch.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Thank you for doing the show. It's so funny that you are in Hawaii. Tell the people where you are.
I am right outside Honolulu in like a suburb. I think it's Milli Vanilli. I don't know how to pronounce it. I only know how to pronounce aloha, halo, and Honolulu in Hawaiian. So that's it. That's the extent of my Hawaiian native tongue.
I see you got the beads going. I love it.
Yes,
cool.
My
welcome beads or something.
Kukui beads.
Oh my God!
I googled it right before. They are kukui beads. That's right.
Oh right, kukui.
Yes.
My friend, she used to have a dog, Kokoa, back in the day, and I loved Kokoa, and she lived in Hawaii. So wonderful. Hawaii, there's nothing more precious to me. Time just doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter because you're so many hours behind the rest of us.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. So I appreciate you taking care of your co-host duties. Very good.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world, darling. I love our time together.
I love it. Well, all right. So I was gonna, last night we do this show on Clubhouse for you guys that you may or may not know. You probably heard about Clubhouse by now. Our room that we do every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern is called Sex Positivity LGBTQ+. And every week for the last several weeks, Kodi and I are the moderators of this room. And then we have Sebastian Lacaze, who has been on this show before. And the three of us moderate and people kind of jump into the room. We try and have a different topic. You missed it last night because you were traveling. And I just wanted to let you know we were talking about naked ambition. Okay. And nakedness is really what we were talking about. On, do you feel comfortable being naked? Do you body positivity? Because these are all things about sex positivity. And Sebastian and I, in our own respective homes, did it naked too, because why not?
Yeah. Well, that's amazing.
I thought about it, and I was going to make a provocative statement that I was naked, and he said, "Well, I'm naked right now," and I said, "Oh, you beat me to the punch." So I stripped my clothes, and it was really enlightening. We had some great sharing moments. We had a great, probably our biggest room to date.
Nice. You know what? The nudity, nudity sells, honey. Okay. Gotta get the people are coming through.
But I have to tell you, there was this one moment where a guy came on, British accent, started sharing about his big ass and how essentially he wears baggy clothes because he doesn't want people touching his big ass. And he seemed pretty young. Well, all of a sudden, another clubhouser comes in the room, and she's calling out this guy, saying, "Weren't you in a previous room that I was in? And aren't you underage?" And all this stuff. And
drama.
And Sebastian and I are silent, and we're supposed to be moderators and not knowing what we should do. And I'm thinking, should we call Karen and legal? Or, I mean... Okay, there is no Karen in legal that I know of, but
that was me.
Good, right?
I'm Karen from legal. You're the one you should have called. I'm on vacation
in Hawaii. So
wow, I missed all that drama last night.
However, the only thing was, it turns out he really apparently is 18, and we all kind of questioned her because, and kind of shut her down, because we really, even if he was younger, Clubhouse won't let you in unless I believe you're of age. But we weren't talking anything about sex. We were
Yeah, it
talking
wasn't
about
like you were
nudity.
soliciting him. It was just talking about body positivity and loving your own body. So
Absolutely.
I don't see
Absolutely.
anything wrong with that. Young
No,
people should learn to love their bodies younger and younger anyway.
exactly.
All bodies are beautiful.
Greg, who's watching us right now live, says, I certainly would bear it all being the exhibitionist that I am. Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
I
I know,
like that.
Greg.
You know, on that note, Kodi, I wanted to just talk about a group that I've been a part of here in New York City. And I think
Okay.
there's other groups. In fact, in Clubhouse yesterday, one of our listeners on that was talking about in Chi-Town, Chicago, there's a Chi-Chi, like your butt cheeks,
Okay.
something like that, a group that he has kind of been a part of that's about nudity. And we all talked about the body positivity that both of these types of groups offer. And it's not like sexual necessarily.
Okay.
And coming out of the pandemic, as things are starting to open up, I couldn't help but notice and read, shout out to my group here in New York because of what they wrote. It's Go Naked, and they are
Oh.
doing a party here next Friday, or actually, excuse me, this Friday at a bar here. If you're interested, I'll post this up on TAGSPodcast.com. This party is coming up, but essentially it's going to be for vaccinated people. And what I really liked was all bodies are welcome. We are predominantly a 21 plus. See, they wrote 21 plus, right?
There it is.
Queer group. We love and affirm and welcome our trans, non-binary, and cis siblings of all gender identities and sexual orientations, age, racial, and ethnic identities, and celebrate the beauty of the human body and the community we have built. And I think that's really important, because I'm not sure if you were on one of our episodes where we were giving advice to a trans man who who told us in his question that he hadn't had sexual reassignment, any kind of sexual reassignment surgery, but for all intents and purposes, he's a trans man.
It's a trans man, exactly.
And he wanted advice in knowing, should he be informing his partners or people that he meets before he gets together with them of his of being a trans man, instead of like surprise and that kind of thing. And so we gave him some really thoughtful advice. It's on one of our recent tags podcasts. If anyone's in,
want to listen to that now.
Yeah. But I like what Go Naked is all about, because I think body shame is a big part of body positivity, and ultimately relates to our sex positivity. So I think that was really, really good. And I'm happy for that. Shout out to Go Naked. We also, moving on, I couldn't help but shout out to Chasten Buttigieg, who is Mayor Pete's husband.
Okay.
I just saw in as we are celebrating Pride Month, he is really affirming and wanting to have Biden pass the Equality Act. And he was talking, because without federal protection and legislation, people can discriminate still in schools, the workplace. And he was really, really working towards hate crime legislation because of all the hate crimes that are happening towards our community, particularly the trans community. But in this month of Pride, I think, shout out to Chasten and passing, and we need more people talking about passing that Equality Act on a federal level. So
I agree. We need to all get behind our trans brothers and sisters on this and be in full unity as far as getting this Equality Act passed.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Some hot topics here. There's a Reddit thread that I couldn't help but notice, and it asked the question, why do guys like wearing athletic shorts in public? And a gay male, I'm a gay male, this person writes, and I recently been seeing more and more guys wearing short shorts at the mall. I know gay males like wearing short shorts, and I wanted to start wearing them in public as well. I'm just curious on why more guys are doing this now, he writes. Straight and gay. I personally like how the long shirt I'm wearing covers almost half of my shorts. There was a lot of comments on people saying why or why they didn't, but my first thought, Kodi, was everything is cyclical. And if you watch anything from the 70s, shorts were really hiked up back then for men.
Oh, yeah.
And really hot, I think.
Oh, no. It's amazing.
Yeah. And the other thing I will have to say about it is if you have a pair of nice legs, or you're proud of your legs, or you're doing like a lot of squats lately and you want to show them off, or even if you don't, you just want to show off your booty, why not, right? It's part of, back to body positivity. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this? And do you like a pair of short shorts?
Oh, I'm wearing a pair now.
Okay.
I think this is an amazing opener for, summer coming around finally. And I've been wearing short shorts for quite a while now. I think that it's funny that you say that the 70s, everything is so, it's a circle basically, because the 70s are coming back around. Magnum PI is one of my major influences, hence the beautiful mustache that I have right here. Oh my God,
I can't believe Magnum PI. Okay.
Come on.
I love it.
I saw a picture of Tom Selleck today at the place that we went to get these pastries. So we took a picture. I'm going to be posting it later on my Instagram. So nice. Yeah, he's
something other than your chest. I love it.
It's going to be on the story, so it won't be there for long. Get it while it's good. But yeah, I think that you're right. Like everything comes back around in fashion, and the fashions that were there in the 70s are coming back around now, and I'm here for it. Show off your legs, show off your Hawaiian shirt with the buttons buttoned down to the navel.
Cool beads, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm going to be sporting these all summer.
So, all right, I love them. I love them, and we have our lava beads that we got in Puerto Vallarta, so we can.
I can layer them.
You can layer. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I say we're really just coming off of that conversation about body positivity and body shaming. I think wear what you feel comfortable in. For those of us admirers of legs, which so many of us are, I vote wear them, because it just means that I get to look at them. So I think it's really
right.
I think you have to own it though when you do anything like that. So I'm the type of guy where when I'm running around, because we walk everywhere here in New York City, so everything's always, my go-to shorts are skater shorts, Van shorts that are pretty actually a little long. And I tend to wear tighter stuff up here. But that's only because I am running around like a mad dog. When I want to go out and I want people to look at it, I will put on my tight shorts. They're not that short, but they're short enough that you get to see the ass.
I've seen these shorts that you speak of.
Right, as the picture of my ass over here is out and about. Or I'm a fan of going to Jockstrap back in the day, which hopefully will open up again. Jockstrap Wednesday.
We'll see you there.
Okay, now I love it. So yeah, it really depends. For me, it's like a time and a place. But for those that want to wear them all the time, I mean, for example, I think Matt, who's watching us live right now, says, I'm a marathoner. My legs are my main feature. There you go. I mean, first of all, it's part of the uniform, right? So
exactly.
I was a former gymnast, and they were part of. I don't think they could get any tighter on us because it's all about the lines. Lines. And
you have to see every single angle and every single line. So
Greg, also who's watching us, says, "What the hell is wrong with that? I wear fairly short shorts most of the time, even at my age." Yeah, exactly. It really does have to do with being proud of your body and being owning it. And I think when
Exactly.
you own it, everybody else will, everything else will fall in line. What do you think about the caveat, though, that the guy said he likes to wear a longer shirt that almost covers? Do you think that there's a little bit of
So it looks
shaming
like a
going on?
dress? I don't know. I was having a hard time picturing that in my mind. I didn't like, why would you want to cover up the short shorts with a shirt? It didn't compute to me. So I would like to send me a picture, sir, so that I can see exactly what you're talking
You
about.
may have to go to
Because
the mall because you referenced the mall a couple times. So I mean,
I'm
check it
not gonna
out.
go there.
I'm just saying, I don't know. We did mention
Not
the
gonna say what I
mall.
thought about the mall.
Exactly, exactly. All right, well, we've got to move on. And our last story comes, it's kind of a crazy one. We talk so much about porn stars in the news, making the news. I can't with these porn stars. It's just too much, Kodi. This time around, though, it comes from a OnlyFans guy. And we also talk a lot about OnlyFans on this show.
Yeah.
And I'll just read you a little bit of it to give you some background. While he's not a household name to most gay porn viewers, OnlyFans model Jake Harding does have a reputation among fellow OnlyFans performers, and it's not a good one. So multiple gay porn stars took to Twitter recently to speak out against Harding for his mistreatment of them and other unnamed performers. And it was also revealed that Harding is facing rape charges in New Hampshire following a 2019 arrest. And it was performer Levi Hatter who first came forward writing, quote, "I'm tired of hiding it and seeing people suffer for it, but Jake Harding is on trial for sexual harassment and assault. He is a terrible human being who has emotionally manipulated and harassed my friends. I'm glad to see his Twitter is gone. Good riddance," he writes. And, in looking at, they actually, well, I love this site. Thanks, Straight Up Gay Porn. But they posted, did you see this, Kodi? The actual assault records in court.
I know, right? And his mugshot.
Mugshot. You see rape on this document. The scary part about it to me that stuck out is this date of birth, 7/2000. This boy is only 19 years old, y'all.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You should be on CSI. Like, what how did you even see that? I didn't even.
I have an eye for this kind of stuff. And it just goes on and on. I mean, his real name, I think, is Blake Romano.
Okay.
And he's just on and on. Apparently, there was another porn star, Jake. I will say Jake Harding did not tell me about his trial, also while he hid his face, until we had met in person and he was staying in my house. If I had known prior, I would have not even considered collaborating. That's a key word there. Ask questions, wonder why, be a spy, and believe survivors. Two things in this thing that this second person wrote. So with OnlyFans, Kodi, you have to collaborate a lot to keep your content going. So they're not a studio. They're not gathering all the porn stars together to do this grand shoot. Part of why many of us like OnlyFans is it's creative content.
It's raw. It's
raw.
real.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Almost amateur-ish. And their job is to kind of keep it coming, at least weekly, usually is a successful OnlyFans, often doing what many want them to do. But some of the more successful ones are couples, and one of his people that are coming against him are saying he's constantly trying to get in a relationship because he knows that his feeling is that if he's in a relationship and they're doing porn scenes together, they're going to rack up more coin. There's a lot to unpack here. The only thing I'll just leave you with to give you my last and final word on this, and I want to hear from you, is that we don't talk a lot about OnlyFans. I think it's such an amazing tool for people right now to make some money, and I'm all for it. I have so many accounts. Jeremy Russ Lopez, our other co-host, has so many he's following a lot of these. But when you're 19, do you really have the mental capacity to do this? Maybe, maybe not. In this case, I don't think he does to handle this.
I mean, some people grow up faster than other people, so I can see where you're coming from with that. But he really strikes me as a completely crazy narcissist. He seems really controlling. It almost seems like he's grooming his victims. And
Yeah.
it's really, really scary. And it also goes to highlight that consent is so important in this day and age. And just because you're a sex worker does not mean that consent is taken out of the equation. You still have to give consent, or you can take it away as well. This reminds me of a story that we did not too long ago about Papi Suave. You remember Papi Suave and Chi Chi LaRue? Yeah. It's
refresh
the same.
People real quick on that.
Basically, Papi Suave says that he alleges that Chi Chi LaRue sexually assaulted him and is pressing charges against him and refuses to work with him. So I think that this is another case where it shows how often something like this can happen, and that it probably happens way more than we think it happens.
What strikes me is we've had different people like Dante Cole on the show and D'Angelo Jackson, who we've personally interviewed on the show before. And the things that really stood out for me and why they're so successful, and what I got out of my interviews with these types of porn stars, and they do OnlyFans and so forth, is that they really had a professional mentality about their careers. And they took everything, even though they were lovely to do the press interviews because they were promoting a documentary that was they were featured in, and they couldn't have been more lovelier from a press standpoint, and made me feel like totally welcome to ask any question I wanted to. What you learn in the documentary, because it followed them around, and what I got from my conversations with them is it's a business, and they treat it like a business, every aspect of it. And they don't, neither one of them seemed like they blurred the lines. So if you were to take this story about Jake Harding that we're talking about, every aspect about the rape charge and what people are accusing him of blurring those lines, staying at someone's apartment when you were going to collaborate with them, but not disclosing your rape charges, really trying to get a boyfriend out of somebody, but then saying, well, let's work together, blurring real life with work life. And unfortunately, being so young and naive, I think this is what can happen. It could be an exciting industry. It's certainly, so many of us appreciate it and love it, but
so lucrative.
But it can be a dangerous. And when you find yourself with a mugshot at 19 dealing with this, I just hope he gets his act together, because it's way too young to be having a record like this, and for us to even be having to talk about it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that, he needs to really take stock of his life from now and just kind of move forward with that. Because if he's convicted of this, like, he'll have a record, and he'll have to register as a sex offender. That's something that you just made me think about, honestly, right now. So,
well, we would normally we're going to do a shorter vulnerable voices towards the end, but this next story really kind of relates to what we're talking about, and it's about disclosure, and it's another Reddit thread. And this one's called HIV Positive and the Apps, What to Do. So let me read it to you guys. Hello, fellow gay men. Recently, a very close friend of mine confided in me that he has been living with an HIV positive status for many years. Luckily, he's been able to afford medications for a while, and based on his own account, he's currently not undetectable. He wrote not detectable. However, and this is where my internal struggle begins, writes this guy, this friend of mine hooks up on the apps, so Grindr, Scruff, Tinder, quite a lot, and recently confessed to me that he never tells people he's HIV positive, and in fact, always says otherwise whenever asked about it, if it ever comes up at all. So the guy's essentially asking, it's making him uncomfortable. What should he do? we could go on and on. People gave a lot of different advice on that, but I think it's a relevant topic as we all get back into the game, or many of us get back into the game after a year of the pandemic, of people are hooking up again. And so I think it's pretty relevant. People are getting back on their PrEP and so on and so forth. What were your first thoughts when you heard this? I have some thoughts, but I wanted to hear about you.
So this is something that I'm like going back and forth with, because I completely understand undetectable means untransmittable. And that's something that like plays in my mind over and over and over again. But I also see it from a standpoint that you're having sex with somebody and you like, so it's something that I feel like you should be divulging to your sex partner. If it's an intimate act, it's something that you should be divulging to them. And I totally get that revealing your status is so rife with unwarranted stigma and and sometimes does end in rejection. But like, you have to remember
this is public health, though.
Yeah, 100%. You have to remember that there's another person at the end of your dick or the end of your asshole. So it doesn't stay right with you. It goes beyond you. So it's something that you really should divulge to your partner before you have sex with them. What do you think?
And I hear you when you say it's a big deal. We've had Sebastian Lacan has been, if you listen to his podcast, it's so brilliant, Chasing Happy. And he ultimately talks about finally coming to terms and saying, I'm positive. And that's a whole different story from, and he did this on a personal level, than when you hook up with somebody and just from a public health standpoint, divulging, by the way. Now, my real thoughts on all of this are, forget everybody. It's, whether you say you're undetectable, not detectable or not, I'm just taking care of myself here. And I'm on, for example, if it were me now, if I was with that guy, and he said, I'm not, if I even asked, but I know that at the very least, I'm on PrEP, or not even the very least, I'm on PrEP and I'm going to get checked up to see. But PrEP, at least in my mind for now, is 99% going to keep me safe if I choose to not have condoms and have sex with this person. Whether we get into, I think, we're now in a place where somebody could say they're undetectable, and maybe he really is. If he really is undetectable, maybe he's not divulging it because the other person didn't ask.
Yeah.
Maybe, but if they did ask, well, I don't know why he's lying, because then just say, if you really are undetectable, then state that. And but I think it really just comes down to the guy's asking for advice on what should I do. I don't think anything. I think it's a judgment call. If your friend,
I think
if you don't
have
go ahead.
I think you should have a conversation with his friend, because if it's something that he doesn't agree with, he should definitely bring it to his friend. Like, I'm the type of friend that if I think that my friend is doing something that I think is morally or is being, I don't want to say like danger to public health, but I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's something that is possibly could be seen as that. So if he's doing something that is being a danger to other people, I would say something. I'm the type of friend, at least one time, I'm the type of friend that says, you know, I think that you should change this, or that you should look into this and see what they say. And then if they don't agree with me, it's their life. They can do whatever they want with their life. What keeps playing in my mind, though, is what if you are with someone and down the road, you have sex with them one time and you don't divulge your status? What if you have sex with them again? Or what if that one time actually turns into a relationship or something that turns out to be long-term? That is so uncomfortable and strange to have to back up. You have to back it up now and say, oh, by the way,
because they said in this description that he often lies. He says that he's not positive. So
yeah,
so you're right. He would have to back that up and say, oh, by the way, and that's a big by the way. That's like
that's not
the head. What? By the way,
I'll cut you by the way.
By the way, is I forgot to tell you that I like to wear hot pants sometimes. Wink, wink.
And we're making a joke of it, but it's really serious. It's something that that should be taken very seriously, because you're possibly endangering someone else's health. Because, like you said, PrEP is only 99.9% effective. There's always that 0.01% chance that you can infect someone. So
at least if you tell the person you've done your due diligence, and I think you're good. But without that, the lying, I think, to your point too, if we were to answer this guy's Reddit thread, is he should tell at least once, because his in a communications world here, his friend feels comfortable enough divulging to his other friend that he often sleeps with guys and does not tell him his HIV positive status, and often, when asked, lies. So if you're going to divulge all that to me as a friend, then I'm going to at least once divulge back to you how I'm not okay with that, and here's why. Sorry, if you're going to tell me all that, then I have an opinion on that.
Exactly, because my knee-jerk reaction is, what, bitch? Hold on a second. That sounds a little crazy.
So absolutely. No, I think,
I agree with you.
If he's listening on the Reddit thread, that's our advice for you. All right. Well, we've got to get into our vulnerable voices that we started since we started this series, Tags Live. And this week, we are talking about social media. And I know we talk a lot about social media and everything about that, but social media can be vulnerable just by the very nature. I think when I first said social media, I got a little anxiety. And let me just
read both.
Let me just read you some of the words that I wrote down that are both, in my mind, positive and could be anxiety driven. So I wrote FOMO. FOMO. I wrote insecurities. I wrote lust. On the other hand, I wrote inspiration, connection, resource, and then one bad one, scams. That's a lot, right?
Oh, dang. That last one really got me. I feel like the sweat's coming on. I feel a little faint.
Well, there's a actual, I'll call out one that keeps coming up in my DMs.
Tell me.
This is,
I want to know the same one I think of. That's the one I was thinking of.
Wait, do I sound gay or that's so gay? That's so gay.
I can look it up right now if you want me to.
You look it up.
No, it's called That Sounds Gay. That
sounds gay.
You know how many times they've messaged me in the past week? It's been, I counted, it was 4 times that they've messaged me.
And yes, exactly. So scams and people trying to get you to do things. And I've fallen prey, once for that one. Mm-hmm. Even Clubhouse, just a great example of doing the room last night or a past room. And there's trollers often that come into our room. And here we are doing a room each week about sex positivity. And Kodi, people in our room are divulging. Our rooms get pretty deep about the topic.
And personal.
We have a lot more time on our Clubhouse room than the show to get really deep and personal, and it's kind of therapy-ish, but about our sex positivity. So you can imagine.
I feel like Uzo Aduba.
Okay, now, therapy. Yes, exactly.
You keep bringing it up, and I need to. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to start.
But when you're in those moments, and it should be a safe space on Clubhouse, which essentially is social media, to have a troll come into the room so jarring and can make somebody that was really opening their hearts up in the room to want to crawl back and shut down. And you never really know in Clubhouse. You can't, it's not like you can, there's not a security guard at the Clubhouse door checking you in.
I mean,
there's
I'm as
you
close
though.
to
There is
security.
you. There is you.
I wasn't there last night, but I will be there in the future. I am Clubhouse security. All right.
But tell me some of the positive things that you think about it, and some of the things that give you anxiety about or vulnerability. So we don't focus all just about the negative sides of social media.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, social is a tool, right? And it's a tool that can be utilized for many, many different things. The thing that I find that I use it the most for is body positivity things. It used to be a vanity project for me as my Instagram, because I used to want to connect with people and just
based on your body, right? Yeah.
Based on body, and I did it for likes. But then that kind of evolved into me that becoming a stepping stool or something to lift up my self-esteem in my own
validation, right?
Validation, but also as far as I didn't really need the likes in order to feel validated. I needed to just put it out there, and that validated my beauty to myself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. So there's a shift you said you had from just...
For sure. I did it for likes 100%, and then I just did it for myself. Now, whenever I post a body shot, it's just because I love my body and I think I look beautiful. So
I love that.
I'm putting that out into the world to share that beauty with other people, and you're welcome.
We thank you, and I speak for the world in that.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. And I also use it a lot to spread social awareness. I've always posted a lot for Black Lives Matters and things of that nature, but I've also posted a lot of things that are COVID related, and when in that same vein, when things were going awry with that Asian hate.
Yeah.
I posted a lot for that too.
Stop Asian hate, yeah.
Yeah, because that's horrible, and I think that people need to be made aware that this is happening, and that we need to be supportive of our Asian brothers and sisters. I love saying brothers and sisters, by the way.
I love that too. And you also post a lot. I've noticed a lot of things. You're a life coach. You post a lot of affirming things just to kind of get us through our days too. And I think those are really great. And you never know, a quote, whether it's yours or someone that you extract, is reaching somebody, and the quote that they may need that day to kind of keep them going. Because like I said, I wrote insecurities on there. I tend to not scroll around a whole lot. I have to kind of take time to look through. If we were just talking about, say, Instagram, I don't scroll and spend a lot of time with that, partly because I don't want to find myself in a rabbit hole of going down and looking at this body and that body, and looking at this boy in Spain and this other one that's on the Riviera, and this body that I wish I had his body. And I tend to kind of let the algorithms, and I don't know that that's really smart, but pop up what they're popping up. And it's a lot of times my favorite gym people. And for example, my former trainer came up the other day, and it was literally pouring rain, thunderstorms in New York City. And he and this boy are outside the gym, but in the rain, barefooted.
No, ma'am.
Doing all these kettlebell lifts and up, and with the music in the background, it's Raining Men. Yes, Alejandro, I'm talking to you, Unleash Fit. And I have to say, it was pretty amazing inspiring and hot. And the fact that my trainer's straight had It's Raining Men in the background was just
That's
like a perfect,
inconsequential.
it was a perfect social media posting if I had to ever see one. And it reminded me, I want to get back into my, kettlebell training, not maybe in the rain barefooted with It's Raining Men, but my version of it,
You won't get me out there with you. So, but I got to go like that post right now, actually.
Yes,
that
I'm going to send it
like
to
something.
you.
Thank you.
Unleash Fit.
Okay. I'm here for it.
What about FOMO? Do you ever have FOMO for seeing people that are doing things and going, wait a minute, they didn't call me, or I wish I was there, or on and on? I mean, it's probably going to pop up again for some people as things are totally opening up again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. But it happens more with people that I know as opposed to people like random strangers that I see taking these lavish vacations out there. It's more people that I want to connect with or that I have connected with and that I know that I love and that I want to experience that experience with them. I didn't want to use experience twice. Experience that experience with them.
That moment with, yes.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
But okay, so I have to ask you, in a relationship now,
yes,
do you find yourself monitoring what you post, and do you find yourself checking in on, well, what's he posting?
I should have saw this coming.
You should have. And Mitch is not in Hawaii.
He's not.
Mahalo.
I don't really.
Look at you trying to figure out an answer here. A PC answer.
I don't
really.
But I've never. So a big part of what I post, I already censor because, my mother's crazy and I love her and she's amazing, but I would never want her to be uncomfortable looking at the posts that I post. So it's just like right on the edge of too scandalous for my mother to see. So I feel like
I'm on the edge
of glory. But yeah, so I have not found myself censoring anything that I post because I'm dating somebody. That's not something. I don't feel like that's something that I would do anyway. He doesn't censor anything that he posts, so why should I?
I'm gonna have to follow him. It's a funny thing about the mother comment, which I was just talking recently about how my mother, I barely came out to my mother 3 years ago. She's 84, but it's great. And I was telling this whole story, but my mother barely knows how to even answer the phone. So she does answer the phone, and thank God, not on my social media or anything. She knows what I do and all that. But between you and Sebastian, our other moderator on Clubhouse,
I send her all your posts. No.
The fact that you said I kind of moderate what, my mom's seeing. And yesterday, when we were getting our Clubhouse going, Sebastian, there was this woman, Jody, on there. And it was this woman next to this guy that looked like Sebastian. And I invited her up to the stage. If you guys know at Clubhouse, you invite them up to speak. And I invited her up, and she came up. And right as I'm doing that, in my text messages, Sebastian saying, please don't invite my mom up to the stage. It's Jody. Her name's Jody. And I was like, oh my God, my mother wouldn't even know how to use Clubhouse, much less, get confused. So the fact that you guys have mothers that are on social media,
Sebastian is lucky I was not there yesterday, because I would have, if he would have sent me that text, I would have invited his mother in 0.3 seconds. It would have been so fast, his head would have turned.
I'm really happy that my mom is really not adept at social media at all.
I'm going to teach her.
One last
thing.
I
meet her.
Long ass sessions with this. If you can break the code, good luck. But Yeah, she can send me a picture like of our dog and that kind of stuff, and I send her pictures of fashion and from Kohl's, and it's a lot of fun. But or my food, and that's always fun. But anyways, all right, well, enough of that. Thank you for playing on that. And lastly, we could not end the night with another thirst trap, and this week it comes from 22, I believe it was, gay porn stars who took the best photo or video on straight up gay porn. Thank you guys for posting this. We always appreciate it. Kodi, there were so many on this one, as always. I have to know.
So many.
Your job in this segment is to descriptively describe to the people who had the best picture and just really describe it, because we're an audio podcast. Unless you're watching it, we'll put it in the did you put it in the
I just put it in there, and Greg is already on it because
Greg's on it.
Even before I put it in the chat, he was like, "I got my favorites right here."
Listeners, I will post this up.
You better work, Greg.
Tomorrow, Thursday, on TAGSPodcast.com. Just go to show notes, and we want you to weigh in as well. But what were your favorite or favorites?
So my number one favorite, is Real Talix, and he's standing in a bathroom. He has one arm up and he's completely naked. He has the dick of death, and it's huge. It's almost to the floor. He's standing.
Is it towards the end? Or?
It's towards the end. And I voted, and it was the number one voted. So I'm in the majority this time.
Oh my God.
It is the second to the last one, and his face just looks beautiful, and he's got a little come fuck me, or come get fucked look on his face, and he has blonde hair and all these tattoos,
and
tatted up and brown and tan, and just gorgeous, and
a Clark Gable mustache, which I know that's an old reference, but
we're gonna be singing in the rain, all right.
That dick is so beautiful, and his look,
it is, and it's uncut, and
oh my God, I'm like joining him right now. I can't believe it. See, the problem for me when I do this thing is I never get that far down. So there's some goodies.
Oh, really?
That they stay for the
That's
bottom.
A first for you. Oh, wait.
I fall in love too early in the game. I'm such a, it's not an indicator of how I am in bed, people. Just keep that in mind. I have to say, I didn't get very far down the list, but mine has to go to Louis Ricaute. I think Louis Ricaute, Ricaute. He's in a Los Angeles Lakers basketball shirt and shorts with the bedding that he's standing next to, I have to say, as well. It's really nice. I don't know if he's in a hotel room or not. He looks like a badass. He's got a nose ring. He's shaved head, a beautiful beard. He's frowning like, what, you want this? He's got the most hugest biceps ever, and a thick dick that looks like it has a little spot on it that's very sexy at the tip of it. It's just very suckable and beautiful, and he has huge hands too, which I always like too. So he gets my pick mainly because of his look on his face.
He looks like he's gonna do you dirty. That's what. That's all. That look is showing.
Is that what that? Oh, maybe that's what it is. I couldn't describe that.
Like he's about to. You're gonna
tear
get
it down.
Done right. Done. Tore down. Tore up. Tore all the way around.
That's what it is. I couldn't describe what it was, and you just like described it perfectly. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
He looks very serious.
He looks very serious and ready to get down. And that bed behind him with the sheets that are so perfectly pressed, I'm all about that too. We're going to get down, wrinkle up those sheets. Look at me inserting myself there. Well, this has been As I should. This has been so much fun as always. Thank you, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette over in Hawaiian Islands.
Right.
Yeah, have a blast over there. You know,
Thank
you
you,
can
darling.
follow Kodi. He's got two. He's a life coach, and you can follow him at KMD Coaching on his life coaching Instagram, KMD Coaching. But you can also follow him on his personal site and see what thirsty shots he's posting of his chest. And I think you said you have some goodies coming our way at
Can't wait.
Mr. Maurice. But please follow us always at TAGSPodcast on Instagram and we want you to DM us with sex advice, sex relationship questions. We got you covered. We will give you the advice that you know you want. All right. So much fun. Follow us and get vaccinated. Have a great week, Greg. Thank you, all listeners, for watching us. It's been a lot of fun. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.